I want to talk about practical sharpness um, for knives, especially EDC knives. I have a Benchmade 555 mini griptilian sheepsfoot blade, and I've got a Benchmade 553 Tanto. Um, Now, for knives, it's often said you go 6 to 8K, and more than that, you really can't tell the difference in performance. And also, there's a practical sharpness. Both these knives are at a high grit. Um, and for a knife, basically, if it'll push cut phone book paper, you're good. This knife is a little bit. This is the one with the damaged steel. A little bit tricky, but for a higher sharpness, um, and this knife won't do it. This won't cut the cigarette papers. I think I got two here. This one right here. This won't do it, and that's the difference. These knives, in practical purposes, are the same sharpness, but in actuality, like they're not. This one is at a higher sharpness, and normally this one was, where it would pass a hair hanging test, where it would just cut the hair straight off. But hair whittling is not the best test to tell how sharp a knife is, even though you see it used a lot of times. A knife will still whittle a hair with a burr. It's been said. I've read it a few times on the internet and saw some videos about if you can whittle a hair or treetop a hair that it doesn't have a burr, and I found that not to be the case. If you have a very small micro burr, one that's hard to detect, you can still. In fact, it even helps um, whittle the hair. But if you do it in both directions, straight down, that's a better test because usually the burr is flipped one way. Um, the thinner you can go get thinner papers than this. This is the just the regular Tops brand. Usually, I do test the higher sharpness, these OCBs, organic hemp ones, which I like a lot. I'm out of them right now, but basically, practical sharpness on a knife you don't need for a high grit for push cutting, um, and shaving too. Both knives will shave. You really don't need. It's really hard to tell the difference between in performance in just everyday use. I've found could be different. There's different tasks. People use their knives differently. I've like both these will last a month for me without stropping, sharpening, touch up, anything. They'll stay sharp for a while, and that's one of the benefits though of getting a high sharpness versus just a shaving sharp or push cutting phone book paper is that the edge should last longer. And it also depends on the steel. These are both 154 cm, which is kind of middle between uh, high carbide. It's got a bit about middle carbide, and with the edge stability, it still should hold a little bit of a high sharpness a little longer and still be able to cut a little longer. It's one of my favorite steels. I really like it, um, but it's not anything like this 194. I mean, 1095. I was thinking 1084, but it's 1095 steel by and Ontario, um, which has a lot better edge stability than both of these knives, and it'll retain a high level of sharpness for longer. All right, thank you.